I wanted to record a quick intro to give some context to those who were not able to make the Zoom meeting that we did. We ran quite long, just trying to get everything squared away. Found that I was running into similar problems with the VMM website, so I decided to go ahead and make a quick instructional video about how to set up a VM locally on your computer. If you're using VMM and it's working for you, I know it's working for some and not for others. I was able to get it working at the college. I've had trouble getting it working in my own home, however. So basically, the conclusion I've come to is that it's going to be easier for the majority of students to do this, do the labs in a virtual machine that's hosted on their local computer. And so this week, I broke our Zoom meeting up into actually two separate meetings. Quite a few really good questions were discussed. I got to talk a little bit about Windows Server, not in too much detail, but it should be good and hopefully pretty instructional. So enjoy. It's about an hour long. But it explains the process of how to get VMware installed and downloaded and how to get a free version of Windows Server, what the process is that you need to go through to do that. So enjoy the next hour.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll wait until 4:40. Like I said, I'm going to shoot out a quick email here, Donald, making sure everybody knows.
That's okay. I have friends. I just got friends' important tax information mail, and they live in Oregon. They stayed with me briefly like a year and a half ago, and I'm just trying to get their address so I can send it.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's literally what I've been doing.
Okay.
Yeah, that question with the hands-on activity, should I just will the image I uploaded to you with it being not successful count in the hands-on activities, or just give that other step a go and then
well, how about this? You can always excuse me. I got some sheetrock in my lungs from earlier. I was doing some wiring for a guy. You can always email me before you submit your final images. So the ones you submit on Canvas are locked in. If you shoot me an email, I mean, if you haven't hit submit, have you already hit submit on it?
Yeah, I did it this morning.
Yeah, I won't dock you all the points, but because you submitted it that way, if it's wrong, I'll dock you some. But you can always shoot me an email with a screenshot and say, I don't think I'm doing this right, or I think there's something wrong. Can you help me out with this? And that won't affect your grade at all. So
I did all of the instructions properly. I just wasn't able to. It returned. Let me see with.
Oh, here's why. I'll show you this when I install the when I install VMware Player and get the server up and running. With part of your VMware Player setup if you're doing it through VMware, you have to adjust the network settings so that the IP address settings that you use are accurate. Does that make sense? Otherwise, they won't work. Those IP address settings won't work if you're following the instructions to a T, unless you make some changes in your VMware player. So I won't dock you any points for that, but I do want you to make the edits to VMware player so that it will work. So watch what I do when I go do that. I'm gonna wait until a few more people jump on.
Yeah, it just said over a maximum of 30 hops, local domain, blah, 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 blah. And it, oh no, it did. It actually did it. Never mind.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, well, maybe. Hold on. I'll just send it to you real quick in email and. Because I think, like most people, I'm still, like, even though I took a...
You sent it to me in the email?
Yeah, with just the image. I'm... There.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, because I had to set up VMs for the other classes that I'm doing, so I just figured I'd do everything from one.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable to me as a method of doing that. So let's see.
So I missed the part of where you got the Windows stuff. Do we have it accessible through Yavapai, I'm guessing?
Oh yeah. So I got here through. So if you go to, it used to be called DreamSpark, but they've changed it to Imagine.Microsoft.com.
And then sign in with our Yavapai account.
Yeah, make sure you use your Yavapai College email. If you don't, because it makes you go through a confirmation process. So when you hit sign in,
okay,
use your YC email and then go to products and then My School's web. You see what I did here, Jeremy?
Yep.
My School's web store. You're gonna hit search.
There's also
it redirects you to this page called onthehub.com.
There's also a from the CNT site, the Yavapai College CNT site. There's a direct link to the DreamSpark store.
Oh well, then yeah, use that by all means. This is sort of the workaround. This is how I discovered it. It took me a little bit of searching.
Okay, that's what I figured, but I just wanted to double check.
I'll drop the link in the.
Yeah, do that. Do that. Drop it in the chat there.
There's.
Anyways, you do this Find My School thing, or yeah, if yeah, it's yc-cnt.edu. Is it CNT? What is it? yccnt.org. That's it. Okay, so if you go to yccnt.org, this is the college's, the CNT department's website. And DreamSpark, they've changed the name. It's not DreamSpark anymore. It's Microsoft Imagine, but that'll take you right to it. You need to have an account, again, to download anything, but you just use your college username and it'll make you register. Excuse me, it'll make you register.
There's also a separate under that link. There's the DreamSpark web store for CNT students and VMware web store for CNT students.
Oh, is that what you got VMware for? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was looking for that from that a minute ago. There we go.
From this. That's the.
Excellent. Okay. Oh, somebody else just jumped in. It's Joe. Hey, Joe. Welcome back. Did anybody get my email that I just sent out right now with? Because I want to make sure everybody sees that, so nobody can say they didn't. Oh, I didn't know about it.
Yeah, we got it, or I got it at least.
So you can download Player or Workstation Pro. Either one is fine.
Always download the more expensive one for free.
Always download. If it's free, come on. If it's for free, it's for me. So I'm going to actually download this real quick. We're going to go ahead and register. Actually, no, I don't think I need to. Go back real quick and sign in. See if it'll let me. No, it's going to make me register separately on this one. So yeah, you have to register on both there. Make sure Marcia knows about that.
No.
Eric. Hey, Eric. Welcome. So request an account. We're going to do, let's just, issue description. CNT. Is this what you did, Donald? You went through this whole process here?
Yes.
Okay.
And all of the pain that you're going through, I did for one of my other classes the previous week. So
It seems like it should just let you use the same account on both sites since it's both, well, whatever. Whatever. Oops. Anyway, I'm just going to use the version of VMware Player that I have that's a trial. So I think I'm recording. Yes, I am. Good. Okay. So what I'm going to do, this is to demonstrate how to install VMware Player and VMware, or I'm sorry, and Windows Server 2016 on your computer locally. Oh, looks like Reed's jumping in. Hello, Reed. So I'm going to start, first of all, by, well, I've downloaded VMware Player, and I'm going to go ahead and install it on my computer here. So I want to do it on the other screen. But once this installs, now, unfortunately, I don't know what happened in the process of time, but VMware used to be, VMware Player used to be offered for free, but it's no longer. So if you want to use, you know, the Microsoft, or I'm sorry, the Yavapai College CNT Department web store, you can access that at yccnt.org, DreamSpark web store, and VMware web store. So there's that, and then we'll just go ahead and get this going. My computer is about to take a dump because it's running so much stuff right now. So I'm going to go ahead and try and close a few things here. Not a super high-end computer, and I'm kind of maybe overdoing it a little bit. It's trying so hard. It's chugging along, just barely. I see you, Eric. I see you.
Oh, good.
Ceiling. It's a wonderful ceiling.
Oh,
It's all right. I don't care. I'm gonna blur everybody's face when I upload. I don't need to see you.
oh, good.
Okay, so let's close out of my email and some
Damn,
Excel documents.
Nothing.
Okay. And VMware. Okay. Do I care to join the Customer Experience Improvement Program? Sure. Product updates. Okay. All that is good. Great. So the nice thing about if you do decide to run your Windows Server 2016 machine on your on a VM on your computer at home is, if you'd like, you can set up a nice little domain for yourself in your home office. So once we get down the line and figure some things out, you can actually use it as a domain control later on down the road. So Marsha's jumping in. Just go ahead and let her in. I need to fix that so I don't have to let everybody in. Just automatically let them join. Anyway, Marsha, we are in the process of installing VMware Workstation Player. So that's really all you've missed so far. It's pretty basic setup. One thing I want to show you, Marsha, is this right here. This is the college CNT department website, yccnt.org. This is where you can have direct access to the DreamSpark. It's not DreamSpark anymore, it's Imagine, but the website where you can download Server 2016. And this is the website where you can download VMware. You have to create 2 accounts, one on each site. It's kind of a headache. I skipped the second one, but I'll do it another time and show you what all that looks like. But you can download VMware Workstation from there, the full version. Maybe I'll do that and incorporate that into the version I have. But that's pretty much all you've missed so far. I need to close some stuff. My computer is chugging along barely, but it's trying to install things and it's running Zoom and everything else. It's just not happy. Going. Slow down. Oops. There's my house, everybody. Nice. Trying to close some things running on my computer right now so that we can move a little faster here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Marcia, the only reason why I didn't take that is because I was moving and it was felt like it'd be too much for me.
Oh, is Marcia saying stuff in the chat? Sorry, I don't have the chat.
About CNT 121.
Oh, you couldn't get CNT 121 Windows 10 to work? Maybe I can help you with that too. I don't know if it's something I can help you with, maybe. All right, so I'm not going to license my software right now, even though they misspelled license. I don't know who wrote this. L-I-C-E-N-C. Good job, VMware. Well, you don't see. That's the thing, Marcia. Is you don't need to do a disk. You can just do the ISO file. So let's go ahead and, now that it's installed, I'm going to go ahead and open VMware Workstation. Hopefully my computer is going to be able to handle everything that I'm trying to do all at once. So use VMware Workstation 15 for free non-commercial use. So we're going to go ahead and hit continue there and finish. And this is what it'll bring up, something that looks like this. So we're going to go ahead and create a new virtual machine. You don't need to use the disk installer. You can use, oops. We're going to go ahead and skip the update there. We're going to, it's funny, I just downloaded the program and it already is asking me to do an update. So we're going to go ahead and select the ISO file. The ISO file right here I downloaded earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and browse to that. It is saved under downloads on my computer. So we're going to go ahead and open that and click next. I do have a product key for it in one of these tabs here, right there. So I'm going to put in my product key. It's a student edition product key, but that should just be just fine. So basically, the student edition of VMware, or I'm sorry, of Windows Server will expire essentially after so many days. I think they give you, I don't know exactly how many days they give you, but I think it's around a year. So maybe not. I could be wrong with this version. In the past, though, I have found that if you try and use a student version, it will expire eventually. So let's go ahead and I'm going to set this up with my name. Whatever you put in here, this will automatically add itself as an administrator user in Windows Server. So make sure that you set this up with something that you're going to remember. I'm just going to do password 01. And here we go. We'll keep the virtual machine name as is. I'm going to give it a maximum of 60 gig total. That should be fine. You can go less if you have a smaller drive, like if you're running on a laptop. Marcia, she said she couldn't show you how to do it and you didn't have a clue. They ask you when you graduate and do it for that long. What do they ask you when you graduate, Marcia? Anyways, so you can either store as a single file. That's nice if you're going to move it around. So like if you're storing it on a flash drive, storing it as a single file can be helpful. But if you're going to just have it on your hard drive, it's just fine to split it. So that's what I'm going to do is just split it. Take a look at this. You might need to customize this. Now, everybody's computer setup is going to be different. Most of you can just leave it as the recommended. 2 gig is going to be slow. If you have enough, you can go up. I'm going to stick mine at 4 gig. 2 gig is definitely recommended by me. That's what the VMM uses as well for the memory allocation. So this can be adjusted. I have 8 gig in my computer, so I can allocate all 8 gigs to this, but that would be foolish. It would slow my computer. Anything else I'm trying to do down really severely. So yeah, mine is until May of next year. Okay, so Donald, it's over a year. So for the license. The network adapter, leave this NAT. That you can change that if you decide to do later on, like if you decide to do a domain on your network and use your copy of server that you've got, you can do that if you want to play around with that. But for now, leave it as NAT and click on it. I'm sorry, is it under, what is it under? Oh yeah. I'll do that in a minute actually. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. So we're just going to click cancel here. You don't need to do anything here. Where you do need to make a change, I'll show you. You need to make one change to your virtual network, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute once we have the VM up and going. But you need to make a change to your virtual network. That is pretty important. So number of cores. This depends on how many cores you have in your computer. You can use the maximum. So my computer is a dual core, so I'm going to use 2 cores. I recommend doing 2 cores at least. You can't do more than what your computer has. It could cause it to crash, have problems. So you need to know what kind of processor your computer has. If you're not sure, you can Google it really simply. Just Google, your rather go into, if you go into computer management on your computer, and if anything will ever load on my computer ever again, it's very slow right now because of all the stuff I'm doing, and go into device manager here, you can find out what type of processor you have. This is actually a dual core. It's 4 threads, so basically I could run it as 4 core, but you don't want to do that typically. So basically Google your CPU. Mine's an i3-6100, Intel Core i3-6100 CPU. Google it and see how many cores your CPU has if you're struggling to figure out. And you can get there, click on share my main screen here. Oops. So click on Start, go to Computer Management, like I showed you there, Device Manager, and then Processors. And that'll tell you what kind of processor you have. If you see 4 CPUs showing up here, that means you at least have a 4-thread processor, and then you can leave it at 2 cores. That's what I recommend, is 2 cores at least. That should do it. So the only thing you really need to change, if you change anything, is the memory. What homework do we have besides lab? Chapter 1 review question and the question of the day. Yeah, so the Chapter 1 hands-on projects, the Chapter 1 lab, review questions, and the Chapter 1 question of the day, I'm changing the due date to next Friday. So I'm just moving everything that's due tonight forward 1 week because of the confusion with VMware. And then I'll address individual problems as they come up. But yeah, so, all right, so there's that. You shouldn't need to customize much else, but I'm gonna go ahead and click finish, and we're gonna watch the thing power on. And now we're going through oops, you guys are not looking at the right screen. So can you see the screen with the VM on it now?
Yep.
Okay. So now we have, so I just finished out the process. Now we have the VM loading, and it is loading Windows Server 2016. So now I'm going to go through the install process. This is something you should be familiar with after an introduction to Windows Server class anyway. Unfortunately, there's no way to do it via VMM. That's kind of the hang up with doing this online. So everybody should do this. This is the preferable way to do all these labs because it forces you to install Windows Server 2016, which is something, I mean, I can't tell you how many guys have come out of school. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know that many, but I know that a lot of guys come out of school who have never done this before, and they get stuck just doing even the most basic stuff, like installing Windows, including Windows Server and stuff like that, because they've never actually experienced it. And so this is something that everybody should do anyway. So it's definitely recommended to do it if you can. And that's why we have the VMMs. It's sort of like just for those who can't or you know, don't have access or don't have a computer that's good enough to run virtualization or whatever. So
also, don't make the mistake I did. I first installed the core version, not the desktop version.
Yeah,
Yep.
just install
So
it.
the core version, of course, is a version that only includes a command line interface. You have no graphical user interface. You have no GUI. That won't work for this class. So you need to use standard edition, not the core version. And actually, it used to be that the core version in Windows Server 2008 was sort of the secondary version for guys who wanted that, and everybody else, most everybody installed it with a GUI. Now there's been sort of a reversal, and by default, they want you using the core version of Windows Server. And it's sort of become a big push because Linux servers are so much more Linux versions of server for various processes are so much more processing intensive, so much less processing intensive, meaning they're not eating up your CPU and RAM just to run the GUI. And so you actually end up with all of that processing power going to actually running the server or whatever server processes you're trying to do. And so there's been a big push from Windows to kind of go the direction of the command line interface instead of the graphical interface. So that's something that you need to be somewhat familiar with. Most everything that you can do on a server, when you get to the enterprise level of doing anything, you need to be able to do it in the command line. So this class doesn't really dig too much into that. We look at PowerShell a little bit, but as you go into the more advanced classes, you do need to learn how to add users and create groups and all of that with batch files and scripting, because it's so valuable to be able to do that. When you're talking about, I don't know, there's companies that consists of hundreds of thousands of users, all on the same domain, or if not hundreds of thousands, even thousands takes forever. If you were to go through and add each user in the GUI, it would take you, hours on end to add thousands of users and all of their details and all of their information. But if you can figure out how to do that with, data manipulation and a batch file, you can spend 45 minutes making a basic script to do it for you. And so it becomes really valuable to be able to do everything you need to do through PowerShell and through command line stuff. So that's definitely something that you should be working towards is if you're going to be a network administrator, be working towards understanding how to do things in the command line. We do a little bit of the stuff that we do in this class in the command line, but it's pretty basic. We keep most everything at this point. The focus of this class is as though you were setting up a server for, somewhere between 10 and 50 users, nothing too crazy. And then the future classes that you'll take is sort of more of the enterprise level of thinking. This is more of like small business, mom and pop shop type stuff. So, I haven't come up with a word of the day yet. Let's make this the chapter 1 word of the day. Let's make the chapter 1 word of the day. Let's make it, you can't do it right now because I have to make it, but let's go ahead and make it VMware. Let's make it VMware. As in the player. VMWARE. I'll write it down here for you real quick. Let's go ahead and just throw it up on the screen. Thanks, Marcia. Thanks for remembering that for me. VMware. All right. Word of the day. Oh, Donald, Windows Server 1 and 2. Yes, those are the classes that really delve into the more enterprise level. Like I said, this class, it's sort of more in the direction of the small business server. And this is one thing that's really important. If you don't click restart now before the green bar hits the end, you have to start the whole thing over again. Just kidding, you don't. But that was sort of a thing. That's a hazing thing that we always did to new guys when they would join at CompuTime. Is if you don't hit the restart now button before it gets to the end, then you have to start the whole thing over. So got a few guys that way. So if you're doing any hazing, make sure you tell them. I've seen guys jump across the entire room to get the restart now. It used to be that you could press any key on the keyboard, and it would say press any key to restart your computer, and it would have that little countdown timer. And seriously, I've seen guys launch themselves from halfway across the room to hit any button on the keyboard. And so, pretty good way to haze new guys who don't know better. So normally the process for installing Windows Server is pretty quick. I mean, this is going fast, but it's not as fast as it would be if this was an actual server, because of the fact that it's running in a virtual machine and it's only got limited resources to do it. It takes a lot longer. So, but yeah, it's a 10-minute process typically. But hopefully, if you have a decent laptop, or tell them to go ask their supervisor for a static wrist strap. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, go ask the boss for an anti-static wrist strap.
We're talking about that. We don't need one.
But don't get too far away, because you need to make sure you're around to hit the restart now button. The Zoom interface is very clunky on the phone. Yeah, sorry about that, Eric. It's kind of hard to see it. At least you're able to chat, though. Who's all?
Finally figured it out.
Hey, you can talk too.
Yeah, well, Donald said it was giving feedback, so I turned it off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're not getting a lot of feedback anymore.
Okay.
Usually I'll mute anybody who's feeding back. Okay, so you see here, this is what you'll see when you first sign in. Now, it's going to want to sign me in with David as the user because I set it up in VMware. Okay. It automatically creates a user anytime you set that up in VMware. What you need to be using, though, is administrator. So I'll show you how to enable administrator and get that going before you start. So real quick, the problem with using just the account that it creates, even though it's an administrator technically, administrator has certain rights and privileges that the enabling Active Directory and stuff like that, you can't do that from a non-administrator user, meaning the actual administrator user. So it'll bite you in the butt later on if you don't do this little part of the process. So maybe it'll let me do something. Come on. It's not letting me get into the actual start menu. Still trying to load, I think. It's not the fastest thing. It never is when you're using virtual machines. So I apologize for that. That's just the way of doing this, you know. That's unfortunately how things go. Unless I was running this server on a much, much higher end computer, which alas, I got rid of my very high end computer a while back. So that right there is Server Manager. That's something that you'll need to familiarize yourself with, and you will as the class goes on. But let's just quickly go into Computer Management. Oh, I guess it just gave me the Start menu there. Right-clicking on the Start menu gives you a few options, by the way, that you might not be aware of. Okay, so we're going to go into Local Users and Groups, Users, and we are going to set. So first of all, I just changed the rules there so that the user doesn't have to change their password and that the password never expires on the built-in administrator. So we're going to go ahead and reset the password for the administrator. I'm going to set it to password 01, and I recommend that you do the same. And the reason why is because several times throughout the labs, it's going to have you sign in with password 01, and you need to make sure that you're doing that correctly. Let's make sure one more thing. What was I going to do? Account is locked out. Okay, you can't lock out the built-in administrator in Windows Server. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and sign out of here. Oops. Somebody just leave? Yeah, somebody left. I think it was Joe. He's been having trouble. I think he might have gotten kicked out. Oh, by the way, Control-Alt-Delete does not work in VMware. So you actually have to click up here. It's just this send Control-Delete to the machine. So if you hit Control-Delete, it'll actually do Control-Delete on your main host computer. So let's go ahead and sign in. All right, and once you sign in, then you're ready to do the labs. It might take a minute to create the user profile, but now if I was doing these labs here today, I would be ready for it. So go ahead and do that on your machines. If you have troubles, please feel free to email me. I can zoom in with you guys, and you can share your screen with me, and I can say, oh, you're missing this step or that step. I can't necessarily do individual for everybody, but if you get in touch with me before next Friday, I can do an extension on the due date on these first labs, and maybe even on the second lab say, hey, you know, I'm not able to get in, and then I can maybe what we'll do, and I'll share that. Go ahead, Donald.
Do you prefer just email a description of what problem you're running into and then just sending screenshots?
Screenshots and an email description are great. And I try to respond as soon as possible. Sometimes on the weekend I'm a little bit harder to reach. So if I'm not responding immediately, it's always within 24 to 48 business hours. So if it's during the regular week, I get back to you pretty much right away. During the weekend though, it's a little harder to get in touch with me. I'm not as available on the weekends. Sometimes I'll respond, but it depends on the mood I'm in. And so somebody's trying to jump in. I think it's Joe. Nope, it's Eric. Eric, did you get kicked off, or are you on with another device?
I'm trying to switch to my laptop.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, in any event, that's that. Are there any questions? Don, you said you had a few other questions for me. Was it just about the ping path stuff?
That's it.
And were you able to get it sorted out?
I'm on my.
Oh, no, we're feeding back again. Eric, just make sure you mute one of your devices. Either one, it doesn't matter.
Bad.
I'm on my thing right now for PowerShell. I'm about to.
Why don't you do me a favor? I'm going to stop sharing. You go ahead and share your screen with me so I can see it. Move this over to you.
You see it?
Yep.
I hope that fixed the feedback problem.
Yes. No feedback coming from you now.
Much better.
Can I give you a small tidbit that you might not be aware of?
What's up?
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. One second here. I'm going to pull something up here really quick and make sure I'm not incorrect. And I was telling everybody these recordings were going to be real short. I'm going to try in the future to keep the recordings short. Let's put it that way. I'm probably cut them down a little bit so that it's not quite as tedious to watch. Hang on, Donald. Let me just look something up here real quick. Man, my computer is not happy with me right now. I'm gonna shut down this virtual machine.
Did you have time for an additional question?
Yeah, I do. Just give me a second here. Let me get this squared away for Donald real quick. Just want to read the lab here. Which lab is this, Donald? Could you just remind me so I can look it up?
It's question 3, activity 1-4.
1-4. One dash 4. Is this Introduction to Windows Server 2016, Chapter 1? 1-1. Okay, I'm getting closer. Okay, 1-4. Question 3. At the prompt, type ping path plus the name or address of the computer you are. What results do you see? So let me go ahead and see what you're doing there. Go ahead and do ping path one more time.
Oops.
Do me a favor real quick, Donald, if you could. Do ping path again, but get rid of the www. Nope. Do a space and then yc.edu. Okay.
And this is with the IP specifications in question 4.
You know what? That could be part of your problem. Actually, real quick, do you mind if I take control of your mouse?
Do you want me just put use DHCP?
Yeah, no. No. Real quick, actually, let me go ahead and stop sharing. I want to show you something really quick that you need to do. I need to share my screen. 1 second here.
I was doing that entirely back asswards. I just did that wrong. Sorry.
What'd you do? Did you figure something out?
Yeah.
You go to edit virtual machine settings. Oh, geez. I'm trying to remember the specific way. They've changed it in version 15, but you need to make a change.
It's path ping. It's not ping path. I was doing ping path.
Oh, you were. Yes, I should have said it too. Yeah, path ping. You're right. That's right. And oftentimes I found that pinging www.yc.edu for some reason has trouble with the DNS system. It can't look that up for some reason in some cases. So if you try it without www, that might be a possibility.
It's working with www. I'm at a point where it says computing statistics for 25 seconds.
Okay.
After it went through it says over a maximum of 30 hops, but it just had 0, 1, and then 2s. I just have a bunch of asterisks.
Okay. What is there's a virtual network editor in VMware, but I can't find it. Maybe it's just a VMware Workstation Pro. I'm not remembering how to find it. But what you can do is you can change the virtual network settings to allow your IP address to work, because you have to have a static IP for some things later. Might have to use Workstation Pro. I just can't remember where to find it exactly. Well, it used to be actually just right.
Is it VNC connections?
I'm sorry?
VNC connections?
No, it's virtual network. Okay. I'm trying to remember exactly where. They must have gotten rid of it in the newer version. Last time I had to make any changes was in well for this version. So they must not have it included in this version. So I don't know.
It's
Is that path ping working okay? Are you able to get out of the network even with the settings that you have?
still no. It goes out, but then it comes back with like 0. Basically, it says 0 ms, 0 out of 100, 0%, like going to 192.168.146.2.
Yeah. Okay. So that's because of the fact that it's your virtual network settings will not work with the static IP settings.
Okay.
I can't remember what the process for fixing that is, though, exactly. So or I don't know what it is for this version of VMware, I should say. Actually, you said you downloaded VMware Workstation, right?
Yeah.
No? Can I take a look? Then, real quick at yours one more time. Can you jump on yours? And or I'll stop sharing. I wanna have you share yours real quick with me.
Can you see?
Yeah. Yep. So what I need you to do, go ahead and minimize your VMware. Good. And then go to Start. And if you just search, here, just scroll down to VMware.
Huh?
Just scroll all the way down to VMware. There it is. And click on there it is. Okay, so it's only in the version that you have. It's not in my version. So if you click here, this is good. So we need to record this for everybody. If you click here, go to the one that says VNet 8 NAT. We're gonna change the IP address here from 192. Click on Change Settings there, where it says Administrative Privileges, blah blah blah. That right there. And then again, go to VNet 8.
This one?
Yeah, and change this subnet IP to in the second and third octet, or just the third octet. Change that to 120.
Dot what?
.0. Yep, and then click Apply. And then click OK. Okay. So now go back into your virtual machine. And yeah, go ahead and do your path ping one more time. One word. Yeah, all right. It's going now. Okay, good. Yeah, so everybody will need to do that who does the VMware locally. So I guess you can't do it with Player.
Would VirtualBox be a better option?
VirtualBox is maybe a better option. You can get Player for free, and Player does have a lot more versatility than VirtualBox. But so if you don't want to go through the headache of signing up for the Yavapai College, store and everything else, all that headache, then yeah, VirtualBox is fine.
Oh, because I think I already did it.
Okay.
That was my whole question.
Oh, that was your question? Were you just going to ask if VirtualBox was okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally fine with me. I have no problem with VirtualBox.
It's still not giving me like any data back.
Okay, what is your static IP? Can you show me?
On the VM?
Yeah. Do you have a static IP set?
I did, but I changed it back to...
Yeah, go ahead and set it back to static. I'm going to see if it works.
Like
It's what you can use is 192.168.120, and then your student number. Ooh, 250. Go back real quick. Minimize your before you put that in. Minimize your window here, and then go back to the network editor. You might not even minimize it. I want to see what it's got set for the gateway. Go ahead and change settings again. So yeah, go into NAT. Click on NAT settings, though, where it says NAT settings up there.
Where?
Down, yeah. Okay, so change that gateway IP to 250. Yeah, that's one more thing everybody will have to do. And then click OK and apply OK. Anybody who's doing now, I don't know the exact procedure for VirtualBox. I can do another video on that topic, or you can figure it out. I don't really want to do another video. It's getting kind of long at this point.
Fine.
And I'm going to have to do a lot of editing to make this something uploadable. At this point, we're at like 2.5 hours, and I don't want to put everybody through that hell. So
I might as well just use the VMware player if that's
yeah,
much.
just go through the headache. I know it's a headache, but go through the headache of downloading it so that you can be consistent. Okay, so this should okay. It's showing connectivity. It's not showing any kind of yellow exclamation mark saying you're not connected anymore. So try it again with these settings now.
Oh, it's doing more stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's getting to the router now. Your router, essentially. Maybe. Can you ping yc.edu for me?
Hold on, it's doing something, I guess.
Okay. Computing statistics. I'm going to move you on my other screen, but it doesn't want to let me. Okay, go ahead and just ping yc.edu. Okay. So it's getting out of the network. That's good enough. If you're not getting the results that it wants you where, because path ping is essentially equivalent to traceroute. It just gives you a little bit more of an output than traceroute does. What does traceroute give you if you run traceroute right now? Trace RT. Sorry. Traceroute.
Oh, tracer. Yeah.
I say traceroute because I'm so familiar with Cisco. I do it with Cisco CCNA stuff. Yeah. Okay. So it's giving you at least an output to the router, but then it doesn't give you any kind of response. Same kind of thing. It might be something in the VMware settings where it blocks incoming ICMP requests, or maybe your computer is blocking incoming ICMP data. Echo replies, essentially. It's possible that your computer is blocking that, your actual PC.
Well, would my desktop, like my router's in the middle of my house, and I just have a wireless thing.
Actually, here's the problem. It's actually responding with a ping, and that's ICMP as well. So it's possible. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's got to be one of the VMware settings. That's most likely what's doing it. Specifically what? I don't know. It's not a big enough deal. It's not a big enough issue.
I don't have to enable VNC connectors, do I?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
VNC is for remote connections to your virtual machine. But, I mean, if you're going to do anything remote, it'll be with RDP, not VNC. So. Yeah, go back into that virtual network editor. That's where it's going to be, if anything. There's probably a virtual network firewall or something like that. That's because it's getting a response back from the virtual router, right? But it's not getting anywhere past that. So, quick view settings there.
Okay.
Marcia, I appreciate you sticking around for this whole thing. I wonder if she's listening. Are you listening, Marcia? Just taking it all in? Oh, you said, are we done? I'm sorry. You can leave if you want, Marcia. I'm sorry. Yes, you can leave. I'm just helping Eric and Donald now.
Is this okay? So the subnet IP, can it be .0 or could I?
Yeah, it has to be .0 unless you're doing subnetting, which you're not. You're just doing default subnet mask, so it has to be .0. Go into the NAT settings. I want to see what else we can see there. Okay, gateway address, IP subnet, allow active FTP. DNS settings, maybe. No, I doubt it. IPv6 is irrelevant. Yeah, I don't know. Oh wait, the last step in that trace give you a response. Step 17. Back over your VM. Huh.
Future.yc.edu.
It's so weird. So whatever router between here and there, most all of them they timed out, but that one responded. So it can't be a firewall issue because otherwise you wouldn't get that back. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what to tell you.
Hold on, let me just do Google.
Okay, so that's your router. That's your virtual router. Let's see if your actual router responds. Yeah, see again, same thing. So something in the VM is blocking it. I challenge you, go into your actual computer. Go into your actual computer, the host machine, not the one running the VM. Now go into a command prompt and try and run a traceroute to Google or anybody and see what it gives you. Okay, there's your router on your network. Yeah. See, it's got to be something with the VM settings. It could be a firewall setting in Windows Server, but I doubt that because it's getting responses from some stuff, just not most stuff. Doesn't really matter. Honestly, Donald, realistically, just go ahead and turn in the screenshot even though it's giving you a weird output. And I'll give you the points for it. I mean, if you already did it, that's fine.
The one I sent you was the one I turned in.
Yeah, and if it was wrong because of network settings, not a big deal. You didn't know that you had to change those virtual network settings for it to get online with the static address. So.
Yeah, I didn't get past the my God. But I mean, so if we're trying to dial out to something, what?
Well, here's the deal.
Wait, bridged. Wait. It says here. It says bridge. Connect VMs directly to an external network.
Yeah, if you bridge it, it's going to be directly connected to your network. So it'll be as though there is no router between your VM and the rest of your network. I don't recommend doing that. If you're going to do that, I recommend doing it with caution because if you set up DNS, if you set up DHCP, which you will in future labs, you could cause your network to have problems. Oh, look, I guess somebody else is jumping in. Let me just go. Dustin, you're a little late to the game. We've just been kind of handling questions. If you have questions for me, feel free to ask, but you might want to wait on the recording for insights on how to access VMs and how to do all that. So there you go. Questions for me? Go ahead, Donald.
So, gonna have to look up on the interwebs how to fix this.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not gonna cause you any problems at this point. But now you're able to access the internet from your VM. Is that what you're worried about?
Well,
Going to a virtual router.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna do something heretical. I'm gonna go to Google on Internet Explorer.
Oh no. Good luck. Internet Explorer on Windows Server is
What?
just so locked down. Click add. Go ahead. Add it. You have to add it to trusted
I
server.
forgot about that.
You're eating today? Pepper's ready.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I can get here.
Okay, yeah, you're online. I mean, that's really what matters. You're going through. Here's the deal, Donald. Setting it up the way we have it. Basically, VMware has two options. Bridged acts as though there's a switch between your VM and your actual network.
Okay.
NAT sets it up as though there's a router, right? So your VM is on a totally different network than the rest of your computer and the rest of your network.
Okay.
So doing it that way makes it so that when you make changes on your server, you're not going to screw things up. All right. Good night, Eric.
Good night.
Yeah. Anyway, so I recommend Donald, that you do it as is, because it is working. If it's giving you weird outputs on traceroute, it doesn't matter. It's not going to make any issue. It's not going to cause any issues in terms of how you do things from here on out. And you've done your due diligence to try and fix it. It doesn't really make that big a difference. As long as you're online and everything else works in that way, then you're good.
I mean, can I go into Windows? Can I do the settings to allow ICMP traffic in Windows Defender and stuff?
You can try that. That's fine with me. I don't care if you want to try anything, but it is definitely allowing ICMP traffic to come back because it has allowed pings to come back.
Yeah.
And if you look there at the bottom, that last trace to the final router did respond. So it's definitely responding. And both of the last traces actually responded. So you're getting ICMP traffic responding for sure. But as to why those routers in the middle aren't responding, who knows? Who knows? It could be a lot of different issues, but it's functionally irrelevant as far as
The class is concerned.
yeah, exactly. The class is not concerned with that, really. So I mean, even the path ping it's the same kind of thing. Path ping does the same sort of thing as a trace route, just gives you a bigger output. So.
All right.
All right. So there you have it, Donald. Dustin, Marcia, we're calling it a day. Dustin, I know you kind of came in late. That's fine. We will be starting these at 3:30. This one went long. I'm gonna edit the video down into a much shorter version, but that's gonna take me a little while. We did this in 2 separate meetings, so. In any event, thanks for your help, Donald. I appreciate all your input and all your questions and stuff. That really does help me to remember things that I need to say.
Yeah,
So,
no problem.
I'm going to shut down the meeting, and I will talk to you all next Friday. See ya.
Have a good weekend.
Yep, you too.